Welcome in to the PGR Intimidator Superspeedway Series 2025. And I know it's a little bit of a different voice up here. Usually we have the wonderful Austin Green up in the booth on Thursdays. Unfortunately, he wasn't available tonight. So I'm your host for tonight's race, Landon Veleke, and we are currently tuning in to qualifying, being wrapped up by the drivers as we speak. And also, as we speak, series owner Michael Triscaro is going through a driver's meeting for these drivers. As for anyone that hasn't heard, people are calling it a new era, quote unquote, in PGR eSports history. There is a lot of changes, and I'm going to try and go through some of these changes with you tonight. Before this race gets started, and as the drivers are wrapping up their qualifying and being informed themselves of all the changes in the PGR eSports universe. So, what I'm going to go over first is just some of the new rules. It's not a full read of the rule book. Don't worry about that. But these are some of the highlights of what is new in the PGR rule book going forward, and will most likely trickle down into other money series as well. Highlight number one, we'll go through the manual yellow flags that happen. You know, there's been some controversy with that in the past on occasion of and gray areas, I should say, really, of what actually defines a caution. Well, this is what it's now defined as. It may be manually deployed by race control under these circumstances. A multi-car incident, which quantifies itself as 3 or more cars wreck on or off the racing surface, including pit lane. 3 or more cars make contact, resulting in a substantial slowdown of the field. Personally, I think that's a fantastic change to the rulebook and one that needed to happen. I think that's going to improve some of the races that happen going forward. Also, in that little highlight is a track safety hazard, in which the instant creates an unsafe condition on the racing surface that cannot be cleared before other cars are put in danger. So essentially, when there could be a slow vehicle, damaged vehicle up in front of the whole pack, and it could be prone to getting hit, you never know what could happen. That's going to now be a yellow flag. Now we get to the real juicy part of this, is the cause of cautions. In the past, usually when race control dictates who receives an EOL, that person, whoever that is given an EOL and sent to the back. That's how it normally works under standard conditions. At this point in time, this is what it's going to be. If a yellow flag is thrown and you are found to have caused or contributed to a wreck, either by your own actions or by putting others in a position where a wreck becomes likely, you will receive a cause of caution penalty. The first offense for that is an EOL. This is standard practice. However, the second offense, and this goes for everybody in the field, immediately results in a disqualification. And this is in the same race, of course. So if you cause 2 cautions in the same race, you will be disqualified from participating in the remainder of the race. And then you have this little part right here. If fault for a wreck cannot be clearly determined, the first 2 drivers involved will both receive an EOL. This will not count as a cause of caution on their record. So basically what we're seeing here now is that racing incidents, no longer a thing. And I know there are plenty of people out here singing the praises for that new rule, myself included, when it comes to that. Also, in this little bullet point, there will be a zero tolerance policy, for arguing calls over race radio and or the PGR Discord server. Doing so will disallow your right to a cause of caution appeal. Now we will move on to the appeal policy for any of the drivers out here, or anyone watching that wants to participate in one of these races moving forward. If you are found to be a cause of caution, you may appeal it. And the way you appeal it says right here, drivers may appeal any cause of caution assessed to them by race control. To do so, complete the cause of caution appeal form located under the Intimidator Superspeedway Series category on the Discord server. Appeals must be submitted by 11:59 p.m. Eastern Standard Time on the day following the event. Once submitted, the appeal will be reviewed by the director of the competition committee, who will assign 3 impartial committee members to evaluate the appeal. These members will be selected based on their lack of vested interest in the incident. The appeal will be decided by a majority vote of the 3 members, either to deny or accept the appeal. If the appeal is successful, the competitor will receive a refund equal to the race entry fee from the PGR and R&R fund. So, what I'm reading here, this seems to be a tremendous change in a lot of the rules, and I'm definitely looking forward to seeing this in the future. How this is going to pan out in the PGR series. And to my understanding, this is applied for both the PGR Intimidator series on Thursdays, but also the PGR Light series on Mondays. I do think if I'm not mistaken, it might be a little bit more lax on Mondays, just because of the nature of what the PGR Light series is. But we'll see about that. There's still a lot of things being ironed out. As you see, qualifying is now over, and we're going to go through tonight's grid for you really quickly, and then we'll get back to some of these finer points later on in the race. Let's pull this grid up right now. Kyler Wynn, your pole sitter in the number 82 car, followed by Kenny McCullough, who is outside in the 03. Asher Little in row 2, starting in the 3rd position, and Garrett Maines to his outside in 4th. Wyatt Gray will start 5th. Nathan Harper will start 6th. Daniel Falkingham, 7th. John Ellison, 8th. Kenny Reel, 9th. And Chris Walker rounds out the top 10 for the Jack Shack. In 11th, we have Dylan Basin, someone that personally I haven't seen in one of these races in quite a while. Nice to see him back. And John Ward for Dega Pros Racing to his outside in 12th. 13th place will be Trevor Osranoff. Cody Nagels in 14th. Matt Lee, 15th. Michael Chiscaro, 16th. Jeff Merck, 17th. Evan Carlbon, 18th. Jared Haynes, 19th. And former PGR winner Caden Dieterich rounding out the top 20. Mike Davenport starting in 21st. And here's a name that a new name on in the PGR series, but is no stranger as a famous name in iRacing. Rocky Boyd III in 22nd position has joined us for tonight's race. Logan York 23rd, Stephen Miles 24th. 25th will be Brian Hennings, the PGR Light Series winner from Monday night. Nick Seipel starting 26th. Freddie Basnez 27th, Mark Vondell 28th, Brock Westmoreland 29th, James Wagner 30th, Dylan C. Jones 31st, Daniel Eberhardt 3rd in 32nd, Joshua McCullough 33rd, Chris McCullough 34th, Tucker McClendon 35th, and Mike Straminsky starting in 36th. 37th place tonight, and actually, that is going to round out tonight's field, so that's interesting right there to have that. That's all we got here tonight, and that could be due to something we'll get into later. I'm just kind of getting ahead of myself with all these new rule changes and things we've got going on. I guess we can go ahead and mention it now. There is now a licensing system in PGR. All the standard drivers, as of recently, and in the future, anyone new that comes along, they'll be put into one of these categories themselves. We have licenses for the PGR Light Series, which means only drivers that are categorized in that section of the chart can participate in the PGR Light Series. They cannot participate in the Thursday races. Then you have an exempt in the middle. They are exempt from being barred from either series. That means they can race in either series that they want. They are kind of teetering on the line of becoming Intimidator Series drivers, but just still not eligible to participate in the Light Series in the near future. They're just kind of teetering on that line. They're exempt, and that list of drivers is it's relatively small. I mean, it's about a handful of them, but we will obviously keep an eye on that moving forward and see who will advance and get their license up to the Thursday series, which includes, to my best understanding, if you've ever won a PGR race, and that nothing's changed on this standpoint, you cannot race in the Light Series, and you're not exempt to race in the Light Series. If you are a PGR winner, you cannot race on Mondays. You are only allowed to race on Thursdays for PGR eSports. So that's lots of changes going on here, and I'm sure I only scraped the surface of it in just a brief meeting with Michael Chiscaro before this broadcast went live. That's what I learned of the new rules, which some of you may know I haven't really been around as much, so it's kind of interesting to hear all these new changes that have been happening since I've started my hiatus. But as you see, the field is being paced by that iRacing pace car as it pulls down to pit road now for Kyler Wynn and Kenny McCullough Jr. with Asher Little and Garrett Maines in tow. They're approaching the restart box now. And Barney the Flagman will soon be waving the green flag on tonight's new era of PGR eSports racing. Here we go. We are green at Talladega. Coming to complete lap number 1, we've already got some 3 wide racing in the back. That third lane charge led by none other than Cody Nagels in the number 6 machine. No surprise to see him up there. It looks like Chris Walker, the 23, wants to take a peek at it as well. And he has Michael Triscaro in the 34 behind him, as well as Caden Dieterich. A very strong third lane being developed right now. Take a look at the chat real quick. $5 from Chris Carter. Hello from Columbus, Ohio, boys and girls. We appreciate you for those $5, Chris. Wish we saw you out here on the track right now, but we appreciate that donation to PGR eSports. Thanks for tuning in here tonight. As look at that third lane, it's making strides up there row by row with the tandem combo of Chris Walker and Cody Nagels. Now Garrett Maines wants to take a peek. He doesn't want to push Kenny McCullough anymore. He's going to take it all the way up to the third lane. Oh, a weird push from Nathan Harper to Kenny McCullough's bumper. As we have Logan York in that green and white XL02 Toyota Supra trying to make a fourth lane out there. Again, no surprise there to see something like that this early on in the race. It's a 60-lap event here tonight, and now we see, oh, look at the third lane. It's not good connection between Chris Walker and Garrett Maines. They're falling back, and they're falling back quickly as the field exits out of turn 2, and it really shouldn't be surprised just how quickly the third lane has developed. Now the bottom falls apart and allows Kenny McCullough to clear down in front of Kyler Wynn. That's a bit of a lethal combo right there. Those two do not like each other. We'll see how well they work together here to move their lane forward, as that leaves Nathan Harper in the 26 leading the middle lane, and still Garrett Maines trying to lead that charge topside, but right now it's just really not working out for him, as you see Logan York once more in the tri-oval trying to make it 4 wide, probably just trying to incite someone to go with him, and right now it's really not working out for Logan. It is only lap 4 after all. But, oh, Logan's in the wall right there as we saw the camera cut. That's going to eliminate his chances up on the fourth lane if they weren't already eliminated. As it's still just calm 3x3 racing out here. It's nice to see this. You know, it's everyone. You know what this looks like? It looks like the Cup Series race at Talladega a couple weeks ago, and especially when you have Logan York and Tucker McClendon topside trying to make a fourth lane up there and definitely make it all that 4 wide throughout the whole pack, like we did see in the NASCAR Cup Series race. Of course, back then that was a fuel measure. It's a fuel saving measure, I should say. That's definitely not what it is right now. But oh, contact, and who else but Kyler Wynn and Kenny McCullough and everybody else. Oh, it's the huge one. Already on lap number 5, Asher Little getting a piece. Chris Walker. Oh my, Trevor Osranoff in the 89, and oh my, I don't even want to know what Kenny McCullough is up there on the radio saying right now. Because, I mean, it's, I guess we called it out, you know, there's possible an incident could happen between the 82 and the 03, and sure enough, lap number 5, it occurs right here. And I will say, at brief glances, I think everyone's going to get away from this pretty okay. Let's go back and take a look at what started this. So this is going to be Kenny McCullough in the 03 and the 82 of Kyler Wynn. Let's take this up top so we can get a better view real quickly and back it up a little bit more. So obviously Kyler's pushing Kenny McCullough in the 03. He's pushing him, probably trying to get himself clear. Kyler Wynn is not the kind that wants to sit behind somebody. He has an opportunity to be clear and take the lead. He's going to take it. He is shoving through him, and I mean, I would assume this is just a bad bit of net code. Yeah, as quickly as that turned Kenny around, that's in all likelihood a little bit of net code. I mean, Kyler was pretty offset of Kenny McCullough right there, but at the end of the day, I mean, you just don't see these cars do what they just did right there. And then you see the rest of the wreck developing up here. Asher a little straight back into the heart of the pack is going to take Chris Walker out. Kenny Reel, Trevor Osmond, John Ward getting a piece. Caden Dieterich is going to get T-boned, as is Freddie Bazinez from that incident. Here comes Jared Haynes, John Ellis. I mean, it's just a large crash right here, but again, all things considered, I don't think there's going to be any severe damage for anybody, maybe outside of Asher Little in the 01. In that green Sundrop car, you see him pull away, and I still don't think the damage is too bad. Maybe a little bit of wheel damage for Asher right there. We'll have to keep an eye on him. Let's go back. Let's see if we can get a different angle of this real quick. We'll keep it focused on the 01 of Asher as the wreck develops in front. A vicious hook in front of him, and Asher gets, I think Garrett Maines might have got a piece of this as well, and I apologize. That is not John Ellis right there. That is somebody else, Jeff Merck, in the number 60 that caught a little bit of nose damage in that melee. And you look at Asher, and yeah, that car ain't looking too great for Asher Little, but all things considered, it's a long race, a very early crash. He is by no means out of tonight's event. Let's go ahead and get some onboards. I want to go on board with Chris Walker, the number 23 machine. See if we can find him real quick. Here he is. We're going to back this way up. Here he is. Trying to push Garrett Maines, then you see all of that happen behind him and then just nowhere to go. For the 23 of Walker there, he is down in the 24 of Dieterich and the 20 of Baznez. So we're going to get a look at him real quick on that left side. That left side is cause for concern for Walker. Might have got a piece of wheel damage from that. Maybe, I don't know. It's hard to say right now. We'll have just once more have to keep an eye on him. Let's go back again. Let's see if we can focus this more on Kyler Wynn and Kenny McCullough. I want to see if we could just get some sort of better angle. Maybe this one will show it right here. Yeah, this looks pretty good. In real time, yeah, that's plain and simple netcode is what that is. There's really no other way of describing that. And going to this view is something else I just saw was Evan Carlbon and Wyatt Gray getting a piece of this crash as well. Nothing too crazy in terms of damage, but two more drivers involved in tonight's crash. Let's look at Asher Little. Zoom this in on him as you see. Repairs underway for the 01 machine as it is for Wyatt Gray. Jared Haynes here, he is pulling out of his stall. John Ward as well. Evan Carlbon pulling out with some pretty severe nose damage to the number 78 machine. He hangs in there though. He's going to be able to get it fixed right up. That's a great looking paint scheme for Evan out here tonight. I'm a sucker for black and red combos with a little white put in there. That looks incredible for Evan Carlbon. Let's take a look at Jeff Merck as well. He's still sitting in pit road. I would assume if he got anything, it's probably a little bit of wheel damage, and that's why he's in here, because cosmetically his car should not be taking this long to repair. And it looks like he's actually going to go one lap down. And so is Chris Walker. I'm wondering if Walker, if he's going one lap down now, he's either just sacrificing the lap, or I don't know. Maybe he's out of tonight's race. I'm not sure. And if he is out of tonight's race, I mean, what a tough run it's been for Chris Walker as of recent. But let's take it back to the front of the field. Nathan Harper's the leader of the race with Garrett Maines to his outside. Cody Nagels has worked his way to the 4th position behind Garrett, and Daniel Falkingham underneath him in 3rd. And I do notice that Kyler Wynn is all the way at the back of the field now. So I would assume that means that race control deemed him to be the cause of that caution. And if that's the case, he's on a short leash, as we know, with the new rules that have been put into place, is if he causes another crash tonight, he will be disqualified from tonight's event. But let's go through the rest of this top 10. We talked about Nagels, Falkingham, and Maines and Harper. Kenny Reel up here in row number 3 and 6th. Or, excuse me, 6th. He will be restarting in the 6th position. John Ellis to his inside. Rocky Boyd in the 16 up to 7th. Dylan Basin to his outside in 8th. And then you have Michael Triscaro, series owner, and Logan York up there in the 02, rounding out tonight's top 10 with a teammate behind him in Tucker McClendon in the 00. So an early crash, no real surprise there. Happens pretty often in super speedway racing when you have the caliber of drivers that we have in here. All very good. No, they all want to go to the front as quick as possible, and sometimes that just doesn't work out. But it's a pair of teammates that will be leading the field back to the green flag, and Harper, Maines, and actually Falkingham. 3 teammates up here for NBG as the green flag's back in the air at Talladega. Pretty even start between Nathan Harper and Garrett Maines. Falkingham's going to connect with Harper, and Nagels in the 6th is going to try desperately to get right up to Garrett Maines' bumper and push him hard enough to where Harper cannot clear Because if you have three teammates at the front of a field, you're basically golden in terms of controlling the front of the race and really the rest of the race, for that matter, because you have one guy up top, one guy on bottom, and you push that guy in the front. In this case, it's Nathan Harper. Push him out there and let him control the temperatures and control the lanes. So, as of right now, at least, even though we got a long race to go here, it's not looking good for the likes of Nagels, Ellis, Reel, Boyd, and a few others back there. Basin, Triscaro, York as well. They're going to need to make something happen, and we know a third lane's going to develop at some point. It's just a matter of how soon it's going to happen. As right now, everyone's just kind of staying 2x2, except in the back of the field. I believe that's Joshua McCullough. All the way in the back there, he is with Trevin Osmernaut. They're going to try and make a push at it, maybe just going around the injured 78 of Carl Bond. As it looks like that might have been the case. We'll see what Josh wants to do here when he approaches Stephen Miles. And never mind, ignore that three-wide racing in the back because it's starting up front. York, McClendon, Westmoreland, Seipel, I think, and somebody else. A fifth car up there, up in the third line, is Caden Dieterich in the 24 machine. And again, no surprise to see Logan York up here starting the third, and it wouldn't surprise me if Cody Nagels says, hey, I want to go up there too. And it looks like he's actually going to stay content where he's at for the moment, is Nagels in the sixth. And I say that, eat my words, there he goes up to the third lane, and is going to work with Logan York to try and break up this NBG train at the front. Great run for Nagels and York. Look at the run they had. You could so easily see that on the front straightaway exit of the tri-oval entering turn number 1, but now that run starts to die out. York is not pushing Cody Nagels right now, especially not to what Cody's liking would be at the moment. They're going to try and get that run off the backstretch, but when they enter the corner, it's going to be harder for them to try and clear. Nagels had maybe a look at it really quickly, but it just wasn't enough for him to clear down in front of the 26 and Nathan Harper. So he will stay topside for the moment. Oh, Harper getting a little loose from a push from Garrett Maines. And now that third lane is starting to develop even more. Nick Seipel says, I don't want to be a part of it anymore. And now we have some four-wide racing in the back with who else but Kyler Wynn and Trevor Osmernoth trying to move up to the front. Seipel says, you know what, I'm going to actually jump back up there. And they're in the wall now. Dieterich getting crowding up there is Kyler Wynn. D3 kind of crowding Dieterich into Kyler Wynn right there. That's interesting, but at the front, it's still just a three-wide parking lot. And when this starts to happen, as Harper clears down in front of Falkingham, when this begins to happen, what you're going to see is that fourth lane develop even quicker. When the guys kind of middle of the pack get impatient, they say, hey, there's another lane out here. I'm going to try and use it. As we saw Logan York trying to do in that first little run, and Kyler Wynn just tried to do with Trevin Osmernoth in the 89. And there it goes again. Wynn to the top, trying to get around Dieterich. See if we can go back to them real quick, keep an eye on them. Exact same setup as we had last time, but this time, oh my goodness! I apologize, you can't help but laugh. D3 Doran, Caden Dieterich up into Kyler Wynn right there. That's, well, I'll keep my thoughts to myself on that one, but that third lane's really starting to die out right now. Nagels losing that push from Logan York. York is undoubtedly becoming hot. Tucker McClendon, even in that Tennessee orange and white 00, he could be getting hot as well the way these Xfinity cards work now, and he's leaving a healthy gap behind Logan York. That's really not helping that line out anymore. That they need someone up there right now. As here comes Kyler again on the fourth lane. And hey, let's go back to it. He's going to back out of it. He thinks better of it this time. He tried it twice, and neither time worked for the 82. Back up front. Third lane's still kind of maintaining, but just not what it needs right now. Maybe Kenny Reel. Who knows? Maybe Kenny Reel, that number 11, blue and white Jordan brand. I believe that's a Chevy Camaro for Kenny Reel. Maybe he wants to hop up there. Right now, they just don't have the momentum. Why would he? He's just going to stay down there and keep pushing Garrett Maines. He's got some solid track position right now. How about James Wagner, the number 30, fourth in line in the middle? Great run for him so far, currently running 9th as Harper clears up in front of Maines. We're getting a little more wiggly right now than we were in the first run. That's a little strange to see. That, I mean, the first run we had, albeit it was only 4 laps, but everyone seemed pretty smooth. Smooth sailing for everybody. Hey, how about Caden Dieterich up there in the number 24? He wants to go up there. Oh, he's in the wall. We're crashing. Brock Westmoreland, a few others. Osmernoth, and is that going to be a yellow flag? It will. Dieterich and Westmoreland still getting into it. And I think that was the most realistic iRacing crash compared to real life that I've ever seen. I feel like I've seen that in a NASCAR race before. But unfortunately for the four of Westmoreland, that will spell the end of the night. For the Team PGR driver, you hate to see that for Brock. He will tow his car away. And look at Caden Dieterich. No nose on his race car. Look at that thing. Or, no, I shouldn't say no nose. No hood. His hood's completely gone. Some pretty sturdy nose damage as well for Dieterich in the number 24 machine. But I will say, I think they were the only two cars involved in this crash. Let's go back and take a look. We'll take it up from the blimp view so we can get a good shot of it. This will be Brock Westmoreland, as Dieterich decided he wanted to try the 4-wide. And he's up there. He's obviously easily to Brock Westmoreland's right side. But Dieterich is going to clip the wall himself and lose it down into Westmoreland. Send him up the track, and then he's going to come down into Kyler Wynn. And that's going to send Westmoreland back up into the outside wall. And then Dieterich is going to continue collecting damage as he rear-ends Westmoreland once more. Great job by these two drivers handling their own crash and from everyone else for avoiding what could have been a much larger incident here on the racetrack. Go back again, get a different angle, potentially. Here we go, Dieterich just kind of lost it. He clipped the wall and just overcorrected it down into the innocent Westmoreland. As you see Brock right there. Just, again, it's unfortunate. Brock running up here in the top part of the pack. Going to be taken out right here. Early on in tonight's race. Let's go back once more. Let's get an onboard, I think, from Caden Dieterich. If we could take a look at him real quick. Here he is. We'll back it up. Actually, before he even makes a move. So here he is sitting here in line. Behind Brock Westmoreland. He takes it up to the fourth. Clipped the wall a little bit there, as you could hear. And then just rubs it, loses it into Westmoreland. Westmoreland back down, back up, right in front of Dieterich. And then it just continues. Can't get away from each other. And that last hit right there really did it in for the damage for Caden Dieterich. But I don't think Caden is out of tonight's race by any means. Brock, I mean, we saw his right front wheel wasn't moving at all. That is a telltale sign that his car is headed for the casket. Caden, he's still running all right. I don't think he has any wheel damage. I think he's going to continue. As I see Heath Job in the chat right there asking a 24 EOL. I would imagine so, Heath. That one's pretty obvious to me that was the 24 of Dieterich. Getting a little bit loose right there and initiating this caution. Let's go back live and take a look at Dieterich. Sitting in the pits. There he is. Damage ain't looking too much better at the moment for Dieterich. And then Westmoreland, there he is. He'll just be, I imagine, just sitting here. I assume, I don't hope, but I assume that he got the too much damage, we're done message for the amount of damage he has on his car. Maybe it's not. Maybe he still has a shot with this race. Who knows? Let's go back. Kyler Wynn has cycled to the lead. I imagine everyone else in front decided to stay out, and here comes Daniel Eberhardt coming into pit. Interesting. Maybe just topping off. We'll have to see. Because if he didn't pit the first time, he's going to be receiving a penalty for coming in on the second lap. I'm not sure. And I kind of wanted to see that. That would have been even more interesting to see Kyler Wynn and Daniel Eberhardt linked up together. That would have just been absolute cinema. But instead, you have Kyler Wynn staying out, and then you have Trevor Osmernoth, who again is no stranger to staying out. and playing the fuel strategy game. As he stays out, and then you have everyone else behind, and Falkingham, Maines, Harper, Nagels, Ellis, Boyd, Reel, York, the same cast of characters that we had before the yellow flag came out. So I say we grab a quick interview. I saw that someone before the race asked me to interview him. We'll go ahead and pull him up. Here he is, as you see, trying to catch back up to the field with his teammate. We'll pull him up right now. Evan, ooh, 1 second. Where is he? Oh, it's not allowing me to drag him up here. That's unfortunate. I was going to get a word with Evan Carlbon, but their Discord channel has been locked, and I don't have access to it. So I think interviews are going to be sparse tonight. Maybe we'll get one with Logan York really quickly. Let's see if we can pull him up here. Logan York, Landon in the booth. Do you have a copy?
Hello. Yes, what's up, man?
So I saw you trying to get that fourth lane moving pretty early on, and right now you were in a solid spot before the yellow flag came out. What kind of happened right here with that third lane? Just kind of losing temperatures?
Yeah, just losing temperatures. Unfortunately, the car behind me got a little stuck back, so it kind of didn't help the line there. But yeah, just normal temperature loss and everything.
Well, what's your plan for the rest of this race? I know it's early. It's only lap 18 coming to 19. What's the plan?
I just want to stay up front be up front at the pit stop, and then make my way up from there.
Oh, there we go. Simple strategy from Logan York. Good luck. Thanks for talking to us.
Thank you. You have a good luck as well. Rock.
Logan York never fails to make me laugh. Well, here we go. Kyler Wynn, Trevor Osmoroth, 82-89 to the restart box. Wynn's going to launch to take lap number 19. Now, we need to keep in mind, those two are off strategy. So if this race, for some reason, goes green for the rest of the way, they're going to be at a pretty stark disadvantage compared to the rest of the field. But look at the pushing going on. Rocky Boyd in the 16, he's going to push 4 cars deep on John Ellis, trying to advance that outside line. And right now, what a job by them. Osmoroth might have a look at getting clear here. Let's see if we could. Maybe not. It's going to be a drag race into turn 3, and then that outside line is going to lose its momentum, and the inside's most likely going to pull away. Entering the quarter, at least. Look at Falkingham shoving Kyler Wynn for all he is worth. As we have a third lane developing topside, Seipel, Baznez. Seipel thinks better of it, leaving Baznez in the 20 out to dry. But hey, how about this? Dylan Basin, Logan York, Triscaro trying to get a peek. How about Rocky Boyd in the 16? I want to go up there and have some fun too. Look at him go. Rocky Boyd with the run on the top side. As Osmoroth might be clear a win, he's not going to be able to clear him just yet. But now there's only 3 cars on the top. They had such a hellacious run. And now they're starting to lose it, but there's Baznez in the 20. He's going to try and work his way up there to Logan York, as Dylan Pace and Rocky Boyd getting a little bit squirrely right there with their pushes. Still happening. Right there might be a little bit of a connection thing between Basin and Boyd. Baznez has now approached Logan York's bumper, but at the end of the day, there's only 4 guys up there. And if the bottom lanes keep controlling, as we imagine they will, it's going to spell disaster for the likes of Boyd, Basin, York, and Baznez. Everyone else behind them is just staying content to stay where they are. I mean, they're look in the back, McClendon and Carlbon getting into it a little bit. Falkingham giving a mid-corner bump to Kyler Wynn. That might be just what the 82 needs to clear. Osmoroth, not enough. Osmoroth fighting strong in the middle lane. But now Garrett Maines is hot. Just giving little love taps to the back of the 89. You can see Garrett backing way off, but for most of that straightaway is probably going to be backed off here too as well, and is the 39 of Falkingham. Needing to get those temperatures. Now that third lane's got a little bit more help with it. Christopher McCullough, Daniel Eberhardt, and I believe that's Tucker McClendon trying to work his way up there. Hey, how about D3 to the fourth lane? By himself. Who's going to go up there with him? You know somebody's going to, and it wouldn't surprise me if it was Logan York. But just no momentum yet for the 90 car. He's going to have to file back in line. Rocky Boyd still hanging tough up there on the top side with the pushes from Dylan Basin. Sad Baznez trying to take a look at the 4th lane as well. I mean, these guys, they keep teasing us with the 4th lane idea. It's one guy every time he's peeking up there, and then it just doesn't end up working out. It's D3. Look at him again. He's showing Baznez that he wants to take that 4th lane from him. He does it right there. See if we can go back to Eberhardt. But he's actually there, and he's got help from the 04 of Chris McCullough. But will it be enough? We'll just have to find out. Right now, it's not really looking like it's enough. As long as they don't hit the wall. York up top. York in front of Daniel Eberhardt. Leaving Baznez just kind of in the middle because Basin, there goes Basin. He's going to leave out Boyd. Kyler Wynn's blinking on the bottom. And now we have some 4-wide racing here at Talladega. Dylan Basin, Boyd almost getting hooked by Baznez. Basin clear of Boyd just barely. What a tight clear from Dylan Basin. What a move. Out of the 11 machine, that Toyota Supra Team Conti. Absolutely insane clear right there from Dylan Basin. But now that just leaves Logan York and Daniel Eberhardt out there. But here comes 75 and Nick Seipel. What's he going to do? Contact! Ozranoff and Boyd, and they're able to save that too. As Wynn blinks out again. Basin down all the way from the 3rd to the 1st. And now we have Falkingham blinking out on the bottom. Lots of internet issues up top. There's James Wagner peeling down to the apron. Not sure what happened to James. He'll be going one lap down here. Dylan Basin, the leader of the race now, with some excellent chess playing of between the 3rd and the 4th lanes and all the way down to the bottom. Is Dylan Basin the new leader of the race? Now, he still has the same guy leading the middle lane in Trevor Ozranoff. As Rocky Boyd and Baznez, they're going nowhere. Ozranoff to the bottom. That's going to be the best thing Garrett Maines ever saw. He wants his temperatures to cool down, and he's going to get that opportunity right now. And he's got a push from John Ellis. Oh, Falkingham. That bottom line's just completely dying out with all the blinking that was happening. And when that happens, hey, that allows Maines to clear, and Rocky Boyd was side-by-side with him for the lead. But now he's going to lose it all once more as Baznez is hot. And look who's worked his way up here. How about Michael Triscaro, lead pusher to the 21 of John Ellis in the middle lane, and the 4th is beginning again. Logan York tried to go out there once more. I think D3 thought about going with him, but thought better of it. He's going to leave Logan York out there by himself. Maybe he'll try to pick up Baznez, but York's in the wall. And that's going to force York to go back down and file back in. More contact. Falkingham down into Matt Lee. Brian Hennings on the apron. And we're still saving it. Great saves out here on the racetrack. Ozranoff, pretty substantial nose ahead of Basin right there, but not going to get the chance to clear. So we saw Garrett Maines cleared Ozranoff, and that allowed John Ellis to be the leader. But now through all that we just saw, Garrett cleared up, and there must have been a tremendous surge on the bottom side of the racetrack that allowed Trevor to clear up now. But here comes Rocky Boyd in the 16. With the push from Freddie Baznez again, it's not going to be good enough just yet. Daniel Eberhardt, he's laying way off the 20 of Baznez. He might be getting warm himself, or might be priming himself for a push to the 4th, and there it is. Him, Chris McCullough, and Logan York to the 4th lane, leaving out Baznez and Boyd. I'm surprised Boyd didn't try to go up there and block that. But York now says, I don't want to deal with any of that. He's just going to hop back in line. Oh, Boyd, more contact. Rocky Boyd's getting used up right now. Contact in every direction, but he's still hanging in there. As are D3 and Chris McCullough up there in the 90 and the 04. Look at Ozranoff clearing in front of Maines. Nobody else wants to take a bite of that 4th lane just yet, though. It's been the same group of guys. We saw Dylan Basin do it once. We saw Kyler do it earlier, but now Kyler's trapped on the bottom. Logan York way up into Daniel Eberhardt right there. Chris McCullough backed out of it. I think he's trying to tell D3, hey, look, I'll give you the spot. Just back out of it. We'll try it again. And that is what happens. As Rocky Boyd and Freddie Baznez stay the leaders of that lane. Ozranoff at the bottom. But, I mean, Freddie Baznez, his temperatures have got to be through the roof. I mean, he's been pushing Rocky Boyd this entire run, it seems like. And what a good run we've had. Some great green flag racing since our last caution. Ozernoth back to the middle, controlling these lanes in front of Basin and Mains. York to the 4th, thought about it, thought better of it. Chris McCullough's backing all the way out of this. He had his fun. You see him back there. He's backing all the way out. He said, look, I don't want to get wrecked before the halfway point. There it is. Ozernoth around in front of the field and everybody else. Hennings, Triscaro, I think. Is that going to be a yellow flag? It will be. I think Brian Hennings just got boned, and he did. Brian Hennings, the winner from Monday night's PGR Light Series race, is going to be taken out here on lap number 28 at Talladega Superspeedway. What a shame that is for the 74 of Brian Hennings. There he is, parked in the grass. He's trying to still drive it. Look at him. He's trying, but he's just going to end up towing it. There he is. Well, there was a lot that just happened right here. Let's go back and take a look. This really started up front with Trevor Ozernoth. Let's take this way up top if we shall. Wait me 1 second. Oh, a little bit of netcode. That's what it's going to be. Kyler Wynn coming way up the track. And it is netcode. Into Trevor. And Trev did a great job trying to save it, but then he tries to clear back down in front of Garrett. Unfortunately, Garrett's nose is there, and that's going to spin Trev all the way out. Look at him drifting. That Fast and Furious Toyota Supra up there. But then the true crash happens in the back. I think Trev's going to get away from this okay. Michael Triscaro got hooked by Nick Seipel down into Brian Hennings. And then Brian Hennings is going to take this massive hit to the inside wall in the 74 car. Luckily, everyone else able to avoid the 74 of Brian Hennings. Let's go back again. This was the original view we saw. This was a crazy kind of shot, but we'll focus it on the 74 this time. Brian did everything he could do right there. There's just really not much anyone else could do. In that situation. Let's go on board with him real quick. Go way back here. Here we are. It's turn 4 right here. You see the contact, the checkup's happening, and all of a sudden, bam! He gets turned and right into where that wall juts out too for the real life safety workers. What a tough break that is for the 74 of Brian Hennings. Let's focus this once more on Michael Triscaro. Because Michael himself, he got hooked. He did not do anything wrong here. Let's go back and take a look at him real quick. Here he is. Back this way up right here. So the wreck develops in front. And everyone did a pretty great job of checking up until Nick Seipel did too initially, but then there's just one checkup too many. Spins Triscaro down into the 74, and what a beautiful paint job that is for Michael Triscaro. I just noticed that. Promoting the PGR Light Series, that thing is incredible. Now it has some paint scrapes on it, though, on the side, as you can see, the number 34. Well, there we go. I mean, that's another just a small kind of crash we just had, and that's really nice to see. I mean, it's unfortunate that, in the last crash, Brock Westmoreland taken out of the race tonight, and now Brian Hennings taken out in all likelihood as well. You hate to see that, but what's refreshing is that it's not the whole field getting completely wiped out in some apocalyptic manner is what tends to happen. So that's nice to see. Let's take a look at the chat real quick. Chris Carter, another $5 from you. We appreciate you. Chris also saying, that's my driver, go Rocky. I wonder, I guess, Chris, you sponsored him into tonight's race, so that's cool. Rocky's doing a great job for you right now. Got a go Rocky from Lisa. Devin Ray in the chat. How many cautions have we had from Lisa? Well, this is the third one so far, and that's not too bad. You know, that's not too bad. That's what I'll say for that. I wonder if we can grab another quick interview. How about we bring Tucker McClendon up here? He's a mainstay on the Monday races. So not going to be able to grab him. Well, you know what? We might just wait on that for a little bit. It's unfortunate. I mean, there's a whole host. I could get all of Team PGR and all the Jack Shack guys. I could pull them up here, but I can't because right before the race started, they locked their channel away from everybody else. So I see them in there, but I can't bring them up into the booth for some interviews. We'll save it for the next one. Basin is the leader of the race with Garrett Maines still. Rocky Boyd up there, P3. Nathan Harper, 4th. Matt Lees very quietly worked his way up here into the 5th position. Kyler Wynn, 6th. Bazinez, 7th. John Ellis, 8th. Cody Nagels, 9th. Nick Seipel rounding out the top 10. Mike Davenport in 55. Good run for him so far. In 11th position. Here we go. The green flag is going to wave here as the field's in the restart box. A late jump for Basin. And he caught Garrett Maines and everyone else on the outside lane pretty off guard with that. Look at the pushes from Rocky Boyd to Dylan Basin. Entering the corner. Logan York. Look at Logan York back there already taking it 3 wide with Chris McCullough. He's got places to be. He wants to go back to the front of this thing. But how about Rocky Boyd? He pushes Basin out to the front, gets Basin clear, but then he gets himself here. Boyd to the lead on the backstretch with a push from Garrett Maines. He's going to clear all the way down, maximize that push from Garrett just before Garrett can clear. And look at the third lane. D3 wants to go up there with Logan York. Those two have been together a lot in this race so far. Cody Nagels is outside. What's he going to do? If he goes up there, you know that Kyler Wynn's going to go up there and block it, so might as well add 2 more cars to it. But hey, Triscaro wants to do it, and so does Nagels. And that was not a good little lineup for those two. That had a real odd look to it. That third lane's just dying out now. Nagels up there inadvertently throwing a block on the 34 at Triscaro, and that just killed the third lane. Logan York's hanging strong up there, though. Hey, Kenny Reel up to the top in the 11. Daniel Everhart coming back to him with Chris McCullough. Logan York will be there eventually. He just doesn't have the momentum right now. And there's Dylan Jones out of nowhere. Where's he been all race? Here he is, working his way up through the field. Joshua McCullough as well up there with Logan York. York just doesn't have that momentum right now. He needs to wait for it. There he is. He's going to grab a draft from Dylan Jones and a push from Josh McCullough. Nagels up to the 3rd. Up there with Kenny Reel. Look at that run. There was a huge checkup in the middle lane. I had my eyes locked onto the 82. Imagine he was going to go up there and slam block the 6. Well, he didn't. Probably because he just didn't have the opportunity to with that checkup that just happened. Here's a look at the forward progress being made by all the lanes. Bottom kind of dying out at the moment. Middle has a good push, pretty even with what the 3rd has, but now a late push from Kenny Reel into turn 3 gets Nagels, Maines, and Boyd all side by side, 3 wide at the front for the lead. And there's Logan York taking it to the 4th again in the 0-2. And that's his good buddy Josh McCullough behind him. You know, Josh probably wants to go with him, but he either doesn't have the momentum or is thinking better of it right now. He's trying to. There he is. 4 lanes of racing here once more at Talladega. And Trevor Osmerov. Evan Karlbahn going to go up there as well, a pair of teammates. Contact a little bit right there between the 04 and the 02. Nagels, whoa, what a clear by Garrett Maines. On Cody Nagels, now we got everyone trying to move up to the 4th. Reel tries to block it, that's going to stack them up. And it did. Reel blocking that lane back down to the middle with Chris McCullough. Carl Bond backed out of it. He said, no, sir, I don't want a part of this. But Ozernoth, his teammate, said, I want every part of it. He's going to go right up in there in the thick of things. And there's the 18 of Wyatt Gray. Well, I don't know where he came from either. He had early damage from the lap 4 crash. And he still has some damage on the driver's side of his race car. There he is, third in the middle. Not sure what just happened to the scoring pylon. I apologize for that. Let me try and take that off real quick. Look at this, 4 wide racing. Hey, we're getting a clearer view of it now, aren't we? Look at them go. 4. You wanted the best, you got them 4 abreast. Ain't that how the saying is? Look at that. Daniel Eberhardt clear with a push from York down to the 3rd. Kenny Reel. Oh, he can clear down in front of Nagels if he wants. He doesn't want to. Not just yet. He'll think about it later. Let's try and pull this back up. I guess we're just going to have to deal with that scoreboard the rest of the race. I apologize. That just appeared out of nowhere. It's some expanded looking thing. Not sure why that is. Apologies again, but we'll try and sort that out under the next yellow flag. That 4th lane kind of dying out now. That was fun for a couple laps that we had it. Daniel Eberhardt, Kenny Reel still leading the 3rd lane. See a couple things in the chat right here. Chris Carter, 2 $5 donations once again. Saying, Landon Triscaro hasn't told you yet, but I sponsored 4 bonuses. There's a crash, it sounds like, in the back. Apologize. We'll have to take that. We'll have to come back to that in a second. Oh, we're still crashing. What's going on? Oh, big crash. James Wagner, John Ward, Mark Vondell. What happened here? Tucker McClendon has a piece of this as well in the 00. Wyatt Gray. And a couple others. What is going on? That is strange. We're going to have to go way back. Okay, but this is paused on the second part of this crash. I heard something. Sure enough, I did. That's the 34 of Michael Triscaro, I think. We're going to need to take this up and get a better look. Oh, there's a big stack up in the middle. Falkingham into the back of Carl Bond. Carl Bond tail whips the 34 Triscaro down the racetrack. And look at Carl Bond at 78 doing a great job saving it. Oh, he's still trying to save it. And he does. Oh, no. Ew, another little hit. But then there's another separate part of this. Oh, Wagner in the 30 and Haynes get together. And that sends the 30 car around right into the oncoming John Ward in the 92. Let's see. So it was 4 wide. You know, people are filing back up the track. Oh, Haynes didn't do anything wrong here. Wagner just kind of catches a piece of him and then right up into John Ward. Back this up a little bit, get a better angle. I mean, it net codes John Ward around, and he spins down to the 24 miles and then tank slaps back up into Wagner, and then Mark Vondell has nowhere to go. Let's go on board with John Ward real quick. See what he sees in the middle of this incident. He's just holding his line, all of a sudden gets hooked. I don't think John's damage is too bad, for the record. I mean, it doesn't look pretty right now, and we are closing in on the latter stages of tonight's race, but, I mean, you never know when it comes to this stuff, so. Let's go on board with the 30 of Wagner. Go way back to where all this kind of begins up in front. Look at Carl Bond down there, fishtailing into the 78, trying to save it. He does a good job saving it, and then I don't really think this is anyone's fault. The 30 and the 7 of Haynes, they just kind of come together right there in all of the aftermath of the melee that happened in front of him. Let's go back and watch Mark Vondel through this. There's Mark. He's just hanging back. As Mark usually does, he just kind of sits and waits for the moment to come to him. Doesn't want to be involved in anything, but unfortunately, this wreck is going to happen right in front of him. It's going to land in his lap. Look, the wreck develops low, and all of a sudden, they're right in front of him. Nothing Mark could do. Let's go back live. Let's look at Wyatt Gray. Trying to fix some damage he obtained throughout all that just happened. How about Caden Dieterich? Is he looking any better? Sure enough. Look at that. Caden actually has a nose on his race car now and a hood. Still got a little bit of damage maybe on the left front. Oh, never mind. The glare of the sun made it look like Caden had a hood on his car, and unfortunately he doesn't just yet. Sorry, Caden, but he'll keep trooping on in this. Tucker McClendon. He had a little bit of nose damage. I did notice that throughout our replays. He's got that all fixed up now. Taking some tires. Mark Vondel. Brand new race car for Mark. Good news for him. I think John Ward still sitting in pit road right here, as is the 30 of Wagner. Look at James's car. It's pretty destroyed. And Wyatt Gray's still sitting back here too. Wyatt's a lap down. And now he decides he wants to go. That's odd. I don't know if he meant to do that or not, but look at the right rear. Well, it's really around the whole bumper for Wyatt in the 18. Strange look there. Let's check on a few other people we saw. Carl Bunn. We saw him get a little piece of it, but he's just kind of hanging around. You know, he was involved in the lap 4 crash, and since then, just biding his time trying to work his way back up there. Gets a little part of a stack up on this last crash, but overall, he's got a clean-looking race car, it appears, as does the 03 of Kenny McCullough. Let's take a look at Triscaro again. That left door damage, that seems to have gone away. And any potential nose damage that he had as well. So we're looking fairly clean for everyone else out here. Maybe not Asher Little, but hey, Asher's hanging in there. Look at him. It's looking a little bit better with every caution, where he can go in and fix a little bit more damage. Well, pace car is rolling off for the same combo of drivers we had on the front row last restart. Dylan Basin, Garrett Maines. Leading the field back to the green flag with Cody Nagels and Matt Lee, former teammates. Behind them, how about Rocky Boyd? What a well-timed restart by the 16 of Rocky Boyd on the bottom. Pushing Nagels into Dylan Basin, but it's just not going to be enough. It's going to allow that's not going to allow Garrett to clear, but that momentum just wasn't enough. Now Garrett clears back up as Boyd decided he wanted to go back behind Matt Lee, and he's going to shove Matt Lee into Garrett Maines. Oh, checking up. Harper Wynn. Behind him, that third lane kind of not purposefully starting, but it kind of got forced to start with Wynn, Seipel, and John Ellis leading the third lane now. Maines to the bottom. Osmoroth, Chris McCullough going back up as well. And this pack's got a slight break on any other double file racing right now. I say that, but there's Josh McCullough coming in the back. I'm trying to see who he's with. I can't tell who that is. I wonder if that's Jared Haynes. It's not. It's Michael Triscaro in the 34. Look at Davenport at 55 all the way up. Kenny McCullough as well. Lots of jostling going around in the back. They're seeming to sort it out for now. And that third lane's just completely dying off as Kyler Wynn continues to blink out. Garrett Maines and Matt Lee, now the leader of the race. Maines going to clear him in turn 3. Daniel Eberhardt leading the third lane. Interesting combo of drivers once more. Now Basin going to clear up in front of Garrett Maines with a tremendous push from Cody Nagels, who is now going to have his look at leading this lap. I think he just might. No, he's not. Basin by just a nose. And that third lane of Eberhardt, Wynn, Seipel, Ellis, McCullough, and Carlbahn now taking a peek in the back. It's just really not making too much progress at the moment. They're kind of maintaining what they've got. But now the question is, when's the fourth lane going to begin? We know it's going to. There it is. Josh McCullough top. All the way to the fourth. With Triscaro and York. I don't know if Triscaro's going to go with... Oh, what are we doing back there? A little bit of contact between Triscaro and York. That burned away all hopes of a fourth lane starting right there. There's John Ward in the injured 92. Nagels... Oh, whoa, we're around! Everybody, Miles, Lee, Falkingham, Baznez, McCullough, Jones, Triscaro, York, Kenny McCullough, Carlbahn, Vondell, Miles. The big one on the back straightaway with 17 laps to go. This started... Something happened in the middle. Okay, you know what? No. We're going to back this up a little bit more. I think Cody Nagels in the 6 tried to clear up in front of Dylan Basin. Okay, he clears up just fine. A little bit of offset push from Basin, Mains into Basin, Lee into Miles, and then it just stacks it all up behind him. Let's take a look at Matt Lee through this as Boyd is going to turn the 04 lead down into Steven Miles. Oh, is John Ward going to get hit again? He is, as he's getting lapped. The 92 of John Ward. That's just been that kind of night for John. And he's going to take a vicious hit into the inside wall. We're going to have to take a look at that again. But then Miles comes back up the racetrack. Let's go back and look at the 24 of Steven Miles. I mean, nothing he can do, and then it's just a stack up. Trevor Osmeroth got away just fine from that somehow. Big crash here at Talladega. Let's get... Maybe this will be a good shot for us. In real time, Boyd into Lee into Miles and everybody else. Haynes getting a little piece, and look, Falkingham nowhere to go, and it's just a massive coming together into the outside wall. Let's go back and look at John Ward. I mean, you got a feel for John Ward right here. He's just getting lapped. He goes down to the apron, everything's fine. You know, okay, I'm just kind of hanging out, and then all of a sudden, bam, and bam! What a hit for the 92 of John Ward. As he's getting lapped, too. I mean, that's just insult to injury times 10. We're going to take this in slow-mo real quick. Let's just look. Spinning pirouettes in the air about 3-4 times, and then just continues to spin like a top. And that will obviously finish off the night for John Ward. He's going to have to tow from that. Let's go on board with him. Wow. He's just never... I mean, it's just... You don't expect that when you're getting lapped and just all of a sudden getting hit like that. Let's go on board with Steven Miles as he's getting spun right at the front of the field. I don't think he has too bad a damage, does Miles? See if we can get a couple more onboards here. I saw maybe Michael Triscaro. Let's see if we can find him real quick. He's following Josh McCullough. All these stack up start, Miles spinning, then just right up into him. Some obvious wheel damage now for Mike. Dylan Jones involved as well. Very quiet night for Dylan. But just going to get taken out right here. Here, I'm going through the gears to try and avoid hitting Bazinez any harder than he did. How about Daniel Falkingham? A definite threat of tonight's race going to get taken out in this as well. This happened right in front of him. Yep, just nowhere to go. Absolutely nothing he can do. Here's a look at Logan York. Let's go back. I mean, Logan York seemed to be all right. This, yep. Some pretty good nose damage. I think he's just going to get rear-ended towards the end. Let's take a look at Jared Haynes as well, if we could find him for one moment. Jared Haynes, he's just doing fine. Right where he is, just kind of hanging the line fourth on the bottom, and then Matt Lee's just going to get hooked, and bam! Oh, you saw that hit for John Ward, and then Haynes. Not a night-ending hit to the inside wall, but one that's going to cost him a lot of damage. See if we can get a cool angle of this. We'll see the whole field start flying apart. There we go, officially the big one. Here tonight, let's go back live. Great timing. Pace car is off. There was a lot to look at in that crash. We almost missed the green flag. Cody Nagle's the leader now with Nathan Harper, Dylan Basin, Kenny Reel, not Jason Maines, his son Garrett Maines in 5th, Daniel Eberhardt 6th, Nick Seipel 7th, Kyler Wynn 8th, John Ellis 9th, Chris McCullough in 10th. Green flags in the air. Pretty even jump for both lanes, inside and outside. Nathan Harper getting a great push. Look at everybody pushing in the first 3 rows. Stephen Miles trying to go top. Seipel wants to go top, but he has no help behind him. Chris McCullough said, I am not going with you. Neither is Davenport or Carl Bond. Actually, check that. Carl Bond top side. That's going to allow Carl Bond's teammate Ozranoff to clear up. Now Chris McCullough says, I want to go up there. And look at Asher Little. What? How did Asher fix all that damage? He's on the lead lap in 15th. In that green Sundrop car. Oh, reeling everyone! Never mind. Did they save that? They do not. And there goes Asher Little, Dieterich, Kenny McCullough, Trevor Ozrath, Matt Lee getting in late, Bazinez. And let it begin. Let the chaos begin. Kenny Reel still crashing. And he's going to have to tow his car away. That is the 11 of Kenny Reel, who had a great run. Got his first career PGR win a couple weeks ago. Or that's probably longer than that ago. Had a great run going tonight, possibly getting a second. This quickly, we're already back under the yellow flag. And at first glance, I hate to say it, but I'm wondering if this is some netcode between Garrett Maines and Kenny Reel. Because there's really not... Yeah, that's exactly what it is. Garrett Maines netcoding into Kenny Reel. And Kenny's doing a pretty good job trying to save a little overcorrect there. But then the 75 Nick Seipel's right there in the way. And that's going to slap him into the wall. I think Seipel's going to come down. Carbon's going to come down across the nose of Kenny McCullough. Josh McCullough spins Asher Little into Josh's father, Kenny, down into Dieterich. Carl Bond and Ozranoff still trying to sort themselves out. Let's go back and see. This is Trev. And Matt Lee's, like, look at him, locking the brakes up. Bam! T-boning the 89 of Trevor right in the left rear wheel. About the worst place you want to get hit. I think Trev's actually crab walking. Sure enough, he is. That's going to be the end tonight. How about this? Looks like Carson Hocevar last weekend. A vicious crab walk going on for the 89 of Trevor Ozernoff. Let's go on board with him. Let's see what that looks like. There you go. There's a crab walking vehicle. What it looks like from the cockpit. Look at him. Look like he's doing a drift around turn 1 and 2. Let's go back. Let's go on board with Kenny Reel. I didn't think that would be a hard enough hit to end his night like it just did, but evidently it does. Yeah. That was a pretty soft hit, too. That's kind of strange. Look, he just can't steer at all. Wow. Let's go back again. I think Evan Carlbon might have a good view of this. Let's see. He's behind Chris McCullough. We saw this third lane try to develop really, really quickly. Pair of teammates fighting each other with some 210, 180 steering ratio action. Carbon gets away all right, but unfortunately for his teammate Trev, ends up with a T-boning from Matt Lee. Let's go back and look at Matt Lee's on board through this. He's just hanging back. Look how far back Matt is. He's probably still got some damage from the first wreck. Early on the brakes. Like, I'm good, and then 89 right in your face. And then blinks out as it happened, too. Someone else involved. Caden Dieterich. Let's watch him. Josh spins Asher Little into Kenny McCullough into Caden Dieterich. Yeah, Caden's going to get away okay, though. Like, that's not any crazy damage at all for Caden Dieterich. Let's look at Asher Little. I was just talking about Asher being back up here. And just, of course, with gets all the damage fixed and then gets run into. Oh, no. Is that a broken wheel for Asher Little? To go through all of that and then get a wheel broken. Wow. That is frustrating. Let's go on board with Asher. Again, that didn't look like too much of a crazy hit either. Strange. Very, very strange is iRacing sometimes when it comes from damage. Well, there we go. That's our second big one, I guess you could call it. Kenny Reel, as you see, it goes back to him, disconnected from tonight's session. Unfortunately out of the race here tonight, but we got the field 2x2 again. Going to be restarting with 9 laps to go. Nathan Harper, Cody Nagels, Dylan Basin, Daniel Eberhardt, Garrett Maines. Top 5, Kyler Wynn, Chris McCullough, Mike Davenport, John Ellis, and Tucker McClendon up here in 10th. Good run for a few of these guys up here tonight. Davenport, McClendon. Great job by those guys. Let's take a look at the chat. Chris Carter still donating out here, telling me to go back and look at the super chats. Okay, Jascara hasn't told you yet, but I sponsored 4 bonuses for $5 a piece. I was hoping he would have you say it. $5 for the first guy on his lid. I don't think we've got that yet tonight. $5 for highest finisher with a 0x. $5 for the first guy out of the money, and $5 for the first guy to finish 1 lap down. Lots of $5 bonuses out here by Chris Carter. We appreciate all the donations you've been giving us tonight for that. Kenny Reel in the chat saying it was netcode too. Yeah, it's just no. It's frustrating. I mean, it's just the nature of iRacing at this point of how bad netcode is. Nathan Harper, Cody Nagels into the restart box. And I saw a lane change in the back by the 20 of Freddie Baznez. If you've noticed that pause I just had, notice that. That's something looked pretty strange about that. We're really whittling this field down now. I mean, we had a strong group of 36 cars, and everyone that's not damaged up here is, I mean, you're looking at them basically. That's it. We've already got a run from the third lane again. That's Kenny McCullough and Rocky Boyd up there. Rabbit Rocky, you know, he kind of got involved in the 1-2 cautions ago. He's trying to get back up there. Mike Davenport to 55. Decided he didn't want to be on the outside. Oh, Mains, and a perfect block by Dylan Basin, leaving Nathan Harper completely out to dry on the bottom. Dylan Basin, that was such a beautiful, smooth block by Basin on Garrett Mains. He's had a couple of those tonight. Shout out Basin. He's still trying to do it. Yeah, he's going to... Oh, what are we doing here? Nagels gets shuffled out to the third lane with some right rear damage to sweeten it. What's Nick Seipel going to do? He's going to push Nagels. Seipel himself has a little bit of damage, but wow, I mean, Cody Nagels. Oh! War contact. Chris McCullough getting shoved out of line. He saves it. Basin, Mains, Harper, Eberhardt win. Now the top 5. McClendon, McCullough, Davenport, Miles, Nagels. The rest of the top 10. Nagels ain't done yet, though. I mean, Seipel has some nose damage. I don't think that's really helping his case in terms of being a good pusher. Might be heating the temps up a little too quick. But there's some discombobulation between Basin and Mains, and the result of that was Nagels getting shuffled out. And I know Nagels isn't going to be too pleased about it. But he's not done yet. I mean, they're still hanging pretty tough up there at the moment. Basin top to block Mains. Going to give Nathan Harper in the 26 some air on the bottom. That top lane's starting to make a little noise again. They've made it past McClendon. They've made it now side by side with Kyler Wynn. It's all damaged race cars up there, and that's what they need. Daniel Eberhardt in a clean car is going to go up there and try and help that third lane out. But now look, there's 2 cars clear bottom. Harper up in front of Mains, and that's going to leave Basin on the bottom. I'm sure Basin's probably okay with that for the moment. Rocky Boyd trying to start the 4th lane up there. Thinks better of it. Basin, Harper, and Eberhardt leading the lanes, and more contact. Just all this zigzagging in both of these lanes right now. Harper clear to the bottom. Coming to 5 laps to go. Eberhardt had a look at maybe getting clear for a brief moment, but just not enough. Harper now well clear of both these lanes. There he is. He's going to clear back up to the middle. But at what point does Garrett say, hey, I want to go up to the 3rd lane? Is that even a consideration for Garrett right now? Who knows? That 3rd lane's really starting to die out now. I mean, they're kind of maintaining where they are. It's just Nagels is now getting hot. They probably need someone to hop up there. Harper's going to clear back down. Harper's just controlling the race right now. And nothing else he really needs to do. But I'll say that 3rd lane had quite the run on the back straightaway right there. They got even with the leaders again out of nowhere. And now they're going to get a little more help in the form of Josh McCullough. That's going to generate a little more energy, but that energy can't really be put to use when the lead pusher of Nagels is hot as he is. And here comes the 4th. Rocky Boyd and Joshua McCullough. Never mind. Oh, they're still trying to think about it back there. 3x3 throughout the entire lead pack. Mark Von Dale kind of shotgun on the field right now, waiting for them to wreck. Probably going to happen at some point. There it is. Josh McCullough and Rocky Boyd are fighting of who wants to lead the 4th lane. Now Garrett Mains clears to the bottom. Tucker McClendon, lead pusher to Kyler Wynn in the middle. That 4th, look at them. They keep trying to figure it out. Okay, maybe they figured it out now. Josh McCullough, now he's just going to go back down, leave Rocky Boyd out. Asher Little getting lapped as we speak. 3 laps to go. weird pushing going on now in that middle lane. And the third lane's completely dead again. Harper now back up to clear. That's going to allow Basin to be the leader of the inside. With a push from Chris McCullough. Mike Davenport, John Ellis, Evan Carlbon, the 5 cars on the bottom. Third lane maybe ain't dead yet. I mean, they're still just barely hanging in there. But now the fourth decides it wants to happen again. With Josh and Kenny McCullough, and I just don't see what kind of progress. It's kind of too late to do that. You should have been doing it a few laps ago. Oh, Seipel doors! Joshua McCullough, and we're crashing. Kenny, Rocky Boyd, and a couple others, and really? Really? I really hope I'm getting the wrong impression of what I just saw. There's Rocky Boyd in the 16. Great run ruined. Josh McCullough got a piece. Kenny McCullough, too. I mean, it's unfortunate. We're looking at Josh and Seipel, which is where this originated. Let's take a look. We're going to focus this on the 75 car. Comes up, slams Josh into the wall, and then Kenny and Rocky Boyd and Von Dell are victim to it, it looks like. I want to get a clear view of this first. Maybe we'll just do this one for now in slow-mo. Watch the third and fourth lane, the orange 75 and the 05 of... I mean... Yeah. Do I need to say anything? Let's go on board. Well, not a lot of wheel movement from the 75, but let's look at Josh. Yeah. No, I don't really know how to comment on this. It's not anything egregious per se, but yeah. Yeah, I think Josh knows that too. He was kind of making it known right there to the 75. Let's just go back again and let's look at Kenny McCullough. Just trying to push Josh up there, and then all of a sudden a door slam in front of him. And nothing he could do, and nothing the next guy we're going to watch could do either, Rocky Boyd. Just, I mean, innocent victims. Let's go back. Well, I think everything that needed to be said was said of what we all just saw. I don't think there's really anything else you can say. And I mean, now, to be fair, the 75 had damage. That is true. I don't know. Maybe I'm just seeing that completely the wrong way. But I don't know. We'll see. I guess we'll see what gets said of it later on tonight. And I don't expect to see Nick do something like that, but I don't know. I don't know. I think we've said all we can really say about it. Let's do a rundown for what is going to be the final attempt at a restart here tonight. 7 cautions, and the 7th and final caution is what we have tonight. We're going to finish it out in these final 2 laps. Leaderboard goes as this: Nathan Harper, leader. Dylan Basin in second to his outside. Jason Maines. Daniel Eberhardt in fourth. Chris McCullough, a terrific run for him tonight, in fifth. Cody Nagels is sixth. Kyler Wynn seventh. Mike Davenport eighth. John Ellis ninth. And Tucker McClendon rounds out the top 10. There he is. Let's do this. Dylan Jones in 11th. Stephen Miles 12th. Chris Walker out of nowhere up here in 13th. Evan Carlbon, his teammate, 14th. Mark Vondell, 15th. Josh McCullough, 16th. Wyatt Gray, 17th. Kenny McCullough, 18th. Rocky Boyd, 19th. Caden Dieterich, 20th. Matt Lee, 21st. Nick Seipel, 22nd. Asher Little, 23rd. And it's really probably going to be it for the viable vehicles left in tonight's race. Maybe Freddie Bazinez, maybe Triscaro. Asher's getting EOL, as we can see right there. And then Trev still out here crab walking. Logan York with a damaged car as well. Here we go. The final 2 laps here at Talladega. The pace car is off for Nathan Harper and Dylan Basin. What kind of starts are we going to see from these lines? Who's going to get the jump? Who's going to try and predict that jump? And who's going to have the good pushers behind them in order to try and get them a win? We're going to find out. Into the restart box. Harper waits. He waits and waits for the green flag to come out. Still gets a pretty good jump on the outside, but he just doesn't have Garrett Maines behind him for any help just yet. A little bit of jostling on the outside lane. Daniel Eberhardt glued to the back bumper of Dylan Basin. Nagel's glued to the back of Eberhardt. I think the outside's going to get a little bit of a surge here. Let's take a look. Yep, sure enough, but Chris McCullough getting into Garrett Maines and Harper. Going to keep their momentum just for now. Into turn 3. Outside lane developing with John Ellis, Dylan Jones, and Chris Walker. Walker says no, he doesn't want to think about it just yet. He's going to stay in the middle. Outside starting to stack up a little bit. Harper up to block Dylan Basin. What's Basin going to do? He's going to push him. He's going to stay right there and push him. Probably a good move for Basin. Coming to the white flag. Contact Harper and Basin. Harper saves it. Great news. White flag in the air at Talladega. Nathan Harper and Garrett Maines now leading the lines. Maines on the bottom, Harper on the top. Basin and McCullough the lead pushers. Third lane still trying to develop with John Ellis and Dylan Jones. Not so much going anywhere just yet. Who's going to hop up there and try and make it work? There it is. Davenport and Nagels. And contacting everyone's trying to go up. What are we doing in here? Look at what's happening in the middle lanes. Lots of jostling around. Nathan Harper getting a great run into turn 3. Dylan Basin, though, just hanging tough right there in that middle lane with the push from Daniel Eberhardt. Mike Davenport leading the charge up top. Check that. Nagels. Contact, maybe crashing. Harper and Basin drag racing to the line. Who is it going to be? They're crashing. Everyone's around in the back of the field. Nathan Harper, it looks like, will win here at Talladega Superspeedway for what I believe is his 3rd PGR win here tonight. Congrats to Nathan Harper for winning tonight's race here at Talladega Superspeedway. Dylan Basin brings it home in 2nd. Garrett Maines 3rd. Daniel Eberhardt 4th. Chris McCullough 5th. Cody Nagels 6th. And Kyler Wynn rounding out the paying spots here tonight in the 7th position. Chris Walker just 1 spot short. Davenport 9th. And what a run for Tucker McClendon up there in top 10. finishes 10th here tonight. But it's all Nathan Harper and the Dallas Cowboys number 26 Ford Mustang. As he brings it on the front stretch for all the virtual fans to see and all the fans out there watching. We'll keep it focused on him as he does some burnouts real quick. Look at him right back into the wall. Shades of Jimmy Johnson trying to knock some toe out of it so he can pass inspection. Nathan Harper, your winner here tonight. Garrett Main celebrating as well. Pair of teammates. Double podium for them here tonight. And a great run for Dylan Basin in second. Let's go back through this. Stephen Miles winds up in 11th with Carl Bond 12th. And there we go. Look at these teammates. And they're a little nose to nose. Very violent nose-to-nose burnout. Someone else just drove by, too. Oh, Carl Bond and Osmernoth having a little fun. Tough night. Got to find fun in it somehow, but it's all Nathan Harper here at Talladega on this Thursday night. Let's go ahead and pull up these final results as they continue to celebrate. Nathan Harper, the winner. Dylan Basin second. Maines third. Eberhardt fourth. McCullough fifth. Nagel sixth. Wins seventh for the paying spots. We've gone over that. Chris Walker finishes eighth. Mike Davenport ninth. Tucker McClendon in 10th. Stephen Miles 11th. Evan Carlbon 12th. Wyatt Gray 13th. Mark Vondell 14th. Nick Seipel 15th. Joshua McCullough 16th. Dylan Jones 17th. Rocky Boyd in 18th. John Ellis 19th. And 20th place tonight will be the 03 of Kenneth McCullough. Let's bring this down real quick. There we go. Matt Lee, 21st. Caden Dieterich, 22nd. Freddie Baznes, 23rd. Michael Triscaro, 24th. 25th was Trevor Osmernoth. Logan York, 26th. And Asher Little, 27th. That rounds out all the drivers that finished on the lead lap tonight. And then the first car, at least one lap down, was actually 16 laps down. Kenny Reel, 28th. Jared Haynes, 29th. Daniel Falkingham, 30th. John Ward, 31st. James Wagner, 32nd. Brian Hennings, 33rd. Brock Westmoreland, 34th. Jeff Merck, 35th. And I don't believe Mike Straminsky actually started tonight's race. So 35 drivers on the racetrack here tonight, rounding off with the 60 of Jeff Merck. So we're going to put these results right back up top. And stick with us. We're going to grab Nathan Harper, Dylan Basin, and Garrett Mains for some post-race interviews. We'll be back. Welcome back to Talladega Superspeedway. We're going to start tonight's post-race festivities. We're actually going to go third, second first because Nathan Harper's not currently in the waiting group. So we are going to bring up Garrett Mains real quick. Garrett Mains, Landon in the booth. Do you have a copy?
Yes, sir.
So a pretty clean race that was ran up front, but, you know, in the top five, I guess I should say, especially by you and your teammate Nathan Harper. Walk us through it.
Yeah, I mean, this is finally a race where I didn't get taken out at the very end. So, just happy to be back in the B car. I mean, the racing has been phenomenal. We had lots of 3 and 4 wide action, and everybody up here seemed to have a pretty good handle on it. So made for a really good fight. Just happy to have survived the early crash, and honestly, there was one more right in front of me towards the middle of the race that I would consider myself pretty fortunate to have avoided. So there at the end, Nathan was in a really good position. Honestly, I wish it ran out. I felt like I was at a better one before the caution, but he just executed that perfectly on the final run. Him and I were nose to tail and just able to I wouldn't say control it, but more or less. I mean, he was able to get up and then get back down and get the push he needed to the line without overheating me. So yeah, I don't really think you could ask for a better result there than a 1-3 in this car. I will take that all day long.
Yeah, and honestly, there's really not much else that could be said about the race that y'all ran tonight. Unfortunately, your other teammate Falkingham was taken out early, and there was a point in the race where you three were linked up together. I was like, MBG is going to be pretty hard to watch, to get around when it was y'all 1, 2, 3 controlling the race, and then y'all come home with it anyway. So congratulations for that, for your third place finish. Go ahead and give out your thanks and your shout-outs.
Yeah, absolutely. Got to give a huge shout out to Wigan Water Technologies. Also, a big thank you to Scott at MCU Body and Lennox for all their support. Also, shout out to Nathan on getting the W tonight. I know that it's a nice little paycheck there for him.
Oh, yeah, 100%. We'll be hearing from him very shortly. That's Garrett Maines, your third place finisher here tonight. Thanks for talking to us. Congrats.
Thank you.
Next up, second place finisher here tonight, Dylan Basin. We're going to drag him up in the booth. Dylan Basin, Landon in the booth. Do you have a copy? Dylan Basin, Landon in the booth. Do you have a copy?
Yes, sir.
There he is. Correct me if I'm wrong, because I've kind of been gone for a little bit. I haven't seen you do a an actual PGR race in quite some time. Was this your first one back in a while?
I think I ran the one before it all imploded. I ran a few weeks ago.
Okay. Well, so I was operating this whole race like, oh, here's his return back to PGR, and he comes home with a very complete race up front the whole time, finishes second here tonight. Just walk us through your race.
Yeah, it was usually I try to pull some kind of strategy off every time to get myself track position based off knowing yellows are coming, but this time I kind of just said screw it. We're gonna try to stay up front the whole time and take track position, and it worked out. We could always wish that we got that little extra run to the line to get that win, but I mean, money is money, and we'll take it. Finishing in the money for me is a lot better than jeopardizing myself trying to get the wins. So, and it's just a very quiet, clean race for me, I would say. Not much happened around me.
Well, I mean, that's true for you, and it was really true for a lot of mainly all of you top three. It was just a very clean, well-run race at the front of the field in the top five, and that's something very refreshing to see and something to appreciate about that. And honestly, I mean, it was so clean. I said the same thing to Garrett. Y'all just ran so well. There's really not much else to say. Go ahead and give out your thanks and your shout-outs.
I'd like to thank the Jack Shack guys and everybody else there for working with me that race. At the end, I didn't really have much help. A lot of them got wrecked, which is quite unfortunate. But when they were out there like Cody and Trevor, I feel like they did a really good job keeping us up there. So I just appreciate them for having me on.
Well, there we go. That's the word from tonight's second place finisher, Dylan Basin. Congrats again. Thanks for talking to us. And next up, we have tonight's winner, Nathan Harper. We're going to bring him up in the booth right now. Nathan Harper, landed in the booth. Do you have a copy?
Yes, sir, I do.
I couldn't get it right. I don't know if this is your second or your third PGR win, so you have to correct me on that. But either way, massive congratulations to you for that. Walk us through your race.
Well, yeah, this is my third win, so this is huge. But yeah, we never had the pit, and that was the key for me, because every time I have to pit, I lose spots, and especially on the green. But I think the lowest I got all race was maybe 10th or 12th. So it was a really good race up front, and I held my track position all race, and I don't know, I feel like it was pretty easy up until the very end, where you had to really put the pieces together and just block the lanes and all that. But yeah, I was up front all race and just executed, I feel like.
Yeah, and you're teamed up with MBG. You have Garrett Maines, you have Daniel Falkingham, and unfortunately Daniel was taken out early on in the race. And just kind of walk us through what it was like with Garrett and just how you two worked together in order to create, I mean, a double podium here for your team?
Well, I'm glad you asked that. So we started communicating pretty hard there on the overtime restart, and I was like, "Well, should I go up? Am I going to get split?" And he was telling me everything to do. And once we got going green, I forget it. It was maybe the first lap or the second lap. I don't know. I already forgot. But he said for me to side draft. And he was literally giving me a live coaching session, and we're trying to both catch. So, yeah, just huge shout out to him. You know, it's a privilege to be paired with talent like that. You know, he knows what he's doing. He's a multi-time winner here, and you can always count on him being up front. So, huge shout out to him for calling everything out.
Oh yeah, 100%. Well, go ahead and give out the rest of your thanks and your shout outs.
Well, again, shout out to Garrett. Appreciate it. Dan, he got wrecked out, unfortunately. He was doing pretty good. Matt Lee, and Baker. Just Garrett for putting this on, and you for broadcasting, and everyone who showed up. You know, the new licensings we got, I mean, it was still a full field, or maybe at least close to it. So, a good turnout always in PGR. So, very, very thankful that this is the thing that's going on.
Yeah, well, there it is. That is the word from tonight's now 3-time PGR Intimidator Superspeedway Series winner, Nathan Harper. Congrats again. Thanks for talking to us.
Thank you, sir.
There we go. Obviously very happy is Nathan Harper, and as he should be. That's 3 wins. He's now overtaken me. I only have 2, so, you know, big competition over here, right? It's just joking, of course. Well, I think tonight was, honestly, for the first race of the new era, quote-unquote, it was, I think it was a pretty good race, honestly. And now, granted, you know, it's the Xfinity card, has a lot of issues with netcode and a bunch of other issues that we could go on and on about, but I do genuinely believe tonight's race was pretty good. It was a pretty clean, solid race. The front, you know, compared to some things we've seen in the past with the Xfinity car, so that's a really impressive thing to see, and a refreshing thing to see as well. And, you know, Nathan Harper is a good winner for PGR to have, as would have been Bass and Garrett, all these guys up here. You know, it's good to see that here tonight, and I really don't have much else to say. It was just a good race to watch here tonight and sit up here and broadcast. So I appreciate the opportunity to do that on a Thursday for the first time, and I think since Christmas Eve was the last time I had to do something, broadcast a Thursday race like this. So let me take a look at the schedule real quick and see what we've got on deck for the rest of the week for PGR. Obviously, Monday night, we have the PGR Light Series. I'll be back in the booth for that at Kansas Speedway. Something new and different compared to everything else we've done with the Light Series so far. I'm definitely looking forward to that. I will be up in the booth for that one as well. And next week we'll have, of course, the next iteration of the PGR Intimidator Superspeedway Series. Tuesday night we'll have Ron Morris Racing's Tuesday Night Thunder. That will be on Tuesday, and then I'm sure a Wednesday race for R&R, the Roughneck Racing, that'll be on as well. I'm not entirely sure about the rest of this weekend, though, so we'll have to see about that. But we appreciate all of you tuning in tonight. Appreciate all the super chats that came in, all the participation in the chat for tuning in tonight's PGR Intimidator Superspeedway Series race. So we look forward to seeing you again. I believe the next time will be Monday, unless something changes from that in the next couple of days. And I will see you on Monday, personally. Look forward to doing that. And thanks again for tuning in, and we hope you have a very, very good night.